the magic woods, and the lost princess. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a beautiful kingdom named Alendria. It was ruled by a wise king and queen who had a lovely daughter, Princess Isabella. She was kind, compassionate, and loved by everyone in the kingdom. One day, while Princess Isabella was exploring the woods, she stumbled upon a hidden path that led her into a magical forest. When she entered the forest, she noticed that the trees sparkled like diamonds, and the flowers glowed in the moonlight. She thought she had never seen anything more beautiful in her entire life. As she walked deeper into the forest, she heard a soft melody in the distance. She followed the sound and discovered a group of tiny fairies playing musical instruments around a small pond. The fairies welcomed her with open arms and invited her to dance with them. She joined in and danced until she grew tired. As the night grew darker, the fairies warned her not to stray from the path, or she would lose herself in the forest forever. Princess Isabella, feeling invincible, ignored their warning and continued her journey further in the forest. Suddenly, she found herself lost in a maze of twisted trees and tangled vines. She tried to retrace her steps, but everything looked the same in every direction. She realized she had made a grave mistake by ignoring the fairies' warning. Feeling hopeless, she sat down on a log and began to cry. Suddenly, a wise old owl appeared and asked her what was wrong. She explained her situation, and the owl offered to help her find her way out of the woods. The owl led her through the maze until they came to a clearing where they saw a large castle. As they approached the castle, they could see a beautiful princess locked up in a tower. She was crying and begging for help. Princess Isabella realized that the princess was lost too and needed to be rescued. She asked the owl to fly up to the tower and rescue the trapped princess. The owl flew up and found a wicked witch holding the princess captive and guarding her with all her might. The owl tricked the witch, and Princess Isabella was able to free the princess from her tower prison. The princess thanked Princess Isabella for saving her, and together they made their way back to Alendria Kingdom. When they returned, the king and queen were overjoyed to see their daughter. The Enchanted Forest 2. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was an enchanted forest. The forest was home to many magical creatures, and it was said that anyone who entered the forest would never leave. One day, a young girl named Lily wandered into the forest. She had heard stories about its magic and was eager to see it for herself. As she walked deeper into the forest, she heard a beautiful singing voice. She followed the sound and came upon a clearing where a group of fairies were dancing and singing. The fairies welcomed Lily and invited her to join in their dance. As they danced, they told her about the magic that lived within the forest. They explained that the forest was protected by a powerful spell that would prevent anyone from leaving until they learned the secrets of the magic within. Lily was determined to learn the secrets of the forest, and the fairies agreed to help her. They taught her how to communicate with the animals, how to use the plants for healing, and how to make potions. They also warned her about the dangers of the forest, including the evil witch who lived deep within. Lily spent many months in the forest, learning all of its secrets. She became friends with the fairies, and the animals, and even the trees themselves. But she knew she could not stay forever, and she longed to return to her village. One day, as she was saying goodbye to her fairy friends, she heard a cackling laugh. It was the witch. And she had come to capture Lily and take her magic powers for herself. Lily tried to run, but the witch was too powerful. Just as the witch was about to take Lily's magic, the animals of the forest banded together to protect her. The trees grew taller and stronger. The birds swooped down to distract the witch, and the fairies used their magic to trap the witch in a cage. With the witch defeated, Lily was able to leave the forest and return home. But she would never forget the magic and love she had found within the enchanted forest. From that day on, Lily used her newfound knowledge to help her village, healing the sick and protecting the innocent. And every night, she would look up at the stars and remember the fairies and the magic of the enchanted forest. The Enchanted Forest Adventure. In a faraway land, there was an enchanted forest where magical creatures and talking animals lived. One day, two young siblings, Tommy and Emily, were walking through the forest when they stumbled upon a mystical fairy who was crying. "What's wrong?" asked Tommy. The fairy sniffled and said, "I lost my wand. Without it, I cannot do any magic." Tommy and Emily felt sorry for the fairy and decided to help her. They searched high and low, through the thick forest, over hills and across streams. Just when they were about to give up, they spotted a shiny object on top of a tall tree. "We have to climb up there," exclaimed Emily. Tommy was hesitant as he had never climbed a tree before, but with his sister's encouragement, he finally agreed. They climbed higher and higher until they reached the top, where they found the fairy's wand stuck in a bird's nest. As they were about to retrieve the wand, the mother bird returned and started to attack them. Tommy and Emily had to use all their wits and courage to defend themselves. Finally, they defeated the bird and retrieved the fairy's wand. The grateful fairy rewarded the siblings by granting them 3 wishes each. Tommy wished for a guitar, Emily wished for a pony, and for their final wish, they wished to go back home safely. From that day forward, Tommy and Emily became famous in the enchanted forest for their bravery and kindness. They often visited the fairy and the magical creatures, bringing joy and laughter wherever they went. And so, the siblings learned that even in a world filled with magic, the greatest power of all is kindness. The Magical Garden of Enchantment. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a magical garden filled with the most enchanting flowers and plants. The garden was so beautiful that people would come from all over the world just to see it. It was a place of peace and tranquility where anyone could forget their worries and be happy. One day, a young girl named Lily stumbled upon the garden while on a walk in the forest. As she approached, she noticed that the flowers were unlike any she had ever seen before. Each one was more vibrant than the last, and their smells were so sweet that they made her head spin. As Lily was admiring the flowers, she noticed a small creature hiding behind a tree. The creature was no bigger than a mouse, but had wings like a fairy. It was a baby fairy. Lost and alone in the forest. Feeling sorry for the little creature, Lily decided to take the fairy under her wing. She took the fairy back to her family's home and began to care for it every day. She gave it food and shelter and even played games with it. One night, as Lily was sleeping, she woke up to find the fairy fluttering around her room. The fairy told her that she needed to take her back to the magical garden and showed her a secret path that led to a hidden door. As they entered the garden, Lily gasped in amazement. The garden was now even more beautiful than before. It was full of light, magic, and wonder. The fairy explained that the garden was only visible to those who had pure hearts and the pure intention of helping others. Lily and the fairy spent many days exploring the garden and meeting new friends. They met talking birds, friendly squirrels, and even a wise old tree who gave them advice on how to live a happy life. But one day, Lily realized that she needed to return home. The fairy assured her that she would always be welcome back in the magical garden and that she would always be welcomed with open arms. As Lily left the garden, she felt changed. She knew that she had experienced something truly magical and that she could never forget it. From that day on, she lived her life with kindness, compassion, and a sense of wonder that she had learned from the magical garden of enchantment.